Hey, this is your co-host, Steve. Welcome to the Plain Donuts podcast. This week is going to be a little bit different. Alicia is out of town, so I have cobbled together a bunch of our favorite moments from our relatively small number of previous episodes. I'll leave links to those episodes in the description on this, wherever you find it. So yeah, hope you enjoy it, and there you go. Enjoy the show.
We must talk about Eliminate.
Oh. Okay, so if you've never heard of Eliminate, which I actually had not heard of this until Steve brought it up, is like, hey, we should talk about this. I'm like, what are you talking about? So Google Eliminate, go to videos,
yes,
and the very first video will be Eliminate Creepy Craig.
Creepy Craig.
Creepy Craig.
Uh-huh.
Click on that. It's only 3 minutes and 16 seconds long. I remember that because I watched it twice. But it is the emotional roller coaster ride of your life. You will not believe.
Okay, so let me tell you, you briefly have to know the format of Eliminate. Basically, you get a single person and you find, I think it was only cisgendered at this point.
Yes.
I have no idea. They might have had some gay ones, I'm not really sure. It could have gotten really nuts. But I don't know why that would be nuts. Anyway, but they basically take a single person and they pair them up with like 5 of the opposite gender. And then throughout the evening or day/evening, they slowly eliminate people. So you're introduced to Creepy Craig when there are 4 other guys to choose from, right? And she's like, oh, I like white wine, I guess. And he's like, what types of white wine do you like? She's like,
This girl, this young lady, I don't know how old this woman is in this episode, but she looks like she's in her 20s.
Yeah,
right.
sure.
And the other guys around her also look like they're in their 20s. And kind of this thing that they keep playing off of in this episode is that Craig is much older than everyone else. And they bring it up in the most cringiest, awful. And I know these shows are scripted. I know they are. But somebody had to write the dialogue for this.
Yeah.
And
well, and the problem is, okay, so, and I don't think it's fully scripted. I think what happens is they have producers who are there like, okay, like, this is going to be boring and nobody's going to like your episode if X doesn't happen, right? They probably manipulate people like that. And so they try to like work out these weird social scenarios. Yeah. Here's the thing though, like, you have rounds and every round you can choose to eliminate people. Creepy Craig was literally in until the very last round.
There's 2 men left. There's 2 men, and Creepy Craig, they keep asking him, how old are you? Yeah. He says, older than you, and then he just says, I have a lot of experience. He kept saying, I have lots of experience. I have lots of experience. Like, what does that mean, Craig? What does that mean?
I mean, a serial killer might have a lot of experience, but not the kind of experience you want to have had.
Yeah, and I don't know what Creepy Craig's job is. I don't know if it came up. I think it might have.
It didn't in the video.
It didn't in the video? Okay, but I just don't...
He's really the worst for that girl.
Yeah.
Like, very bad for her. And then, like, and we're going to spoil it for you, because by now you should have just paused this thing and gone and watched it.
Please watch this.
But the very last part, they're, like, riding some hayride or whatever.
And she's like, this is so romantic. Like, I love this carriage ride.
I don't know if you noticed how awkwardly their legs were placed.
So there's 2... It's the last round of this date, and the lady and this other guy, who obviously is gonna win.
This other guy, let's stop at him for a moment, because he was such a, like, he reminded me of kind of me when I was about 21, but like way more skeezy and
just the word I can describe him is cringy.
Yeah, and this guy is the clearly better option than Creepy Craig. Like,
and that just goes to show you how awful Craig is.
Yeah,
Creepy Craig is awful.
He is the worst.
He's the worst.
He might be a nice guy in real life, but they did not make him out to be this way.
I feel awful for Creepy Craig because this probably ruined his life.
My favorite part of the last scene, aside from the fact that their legs are, like, her knee is basically in other dude's crotch.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, she's gonna know if he likes her. Like, this is really awkward. So aside from that, like, I don't know what this other dude says. I think his name was Tarek.
Yes, and he says, I don't need experience, I've got game.
He said, I got skills.
I got skills.
And then immediately leans in for a kiss. And it's like
a very long
make-out style kiss right in front of Creepy Craig.
And Craig he just watches. He watches them, and he doesn't look away. He doesn't act embarrassed. He acts like he's uncomfortable.
He might be a serial killer, actually. Like, he might not even feel human emotion.
Does he display the characteristics of a sociopath?
He might just be, like, so teeming with rage underneath that nothing else can show through. Like, he can't even show jealousy or whatever. Yeah. And so, like, to control his rage, he just has pure clinical analysis of every situation in his life.
And you can see this, like, the body language is just off the charts, unnerving. Yeah. It's bizarre. Eliminate. Please watch Creepy Craig.
Oh, man.
Please watch this episode. Just portion of an episode.
And then they start making out again.
After Creepy Craig... He watches this, and then the girl turns around, and he's like, man. I'll show you what a real kiss is like. And she dodges him, and so, like, you don't want my sloppy seconds.
Oh, jeez.
You don't want and she keeps repeating the phrase sloppy seconds. I'm like, yes. Please don't feel bad about yourself in this situation. Yeah. You don't need to say negative things about yourself.
Also, you were not really, like, I guess you volunteered for this, but not really.
Not really,
you know?
Yeah. You didn't know what was, it's, like, loosely formatted. You don't know what's going to happen with this, so...
I don't... It's... so bad. And so Creepy Craig goes in for a kiss, and you're just like, don't do it, Craig!
Yeah. And she puts her hands up, kind of, and it's like this... He's holding her head and hand, like... Yeah. It's like a weird arm.
You just hear, I know you want it, like, coming out of Craig's
And then Robin Thicke appears, and he's actually the carriage driver the whole time. It's crazy. That's not real, but I wish it was.
Man, that's amazing. And then they start making out again, and Creepy Craig is back to like...
Just like, I wonder. Yeah, he's like, is this what humans do? What emotion am I feeling now? Like, compartmentalizing.
How do I display? I should feel jealousy. What does that look like?
What does that look like? Does it mean I watch? Really ridiculous. Man. Awful. Anyways.
Here's the thing, though. Either, like, something weird happened with some producer, or... this girl just has really poor decision-making skills. Because Tarek, as skeezy as he was, like, is obviously the better choice. And has been since round one, right? And there were a bunch of other guys who were clearly better for her than Creepy Craig. And yet he hung around until the very last round.
I like to imagine that Creepy Craig is actually a producer. That they are like, oh, this other guy bailed. Okay, you need to step in for this role. And he's like, I really don't want to do this. I really don't.
He's like actually really innocent in the whole thing.
He's not a participant.
They're like, how old are you? He's like, I'm older than you.
I have experience.
I have this is literally my job.
Yeah. This is really... I've only been behind the camera. I've never been in front of it. I don't want to be an actor. Or, he just has all these thoughts.
More likely, though, Craig is just a real creep.
I've been in one-ish fights. I say one-ish fights because I ran away. I wasn't trying to fight, but I fought for my life once someone caught me, and, it was stupid. I found, like, a $20 bill on the ground. I'm like, oh, cool, I found this 20, which, we're going to school in inner city Ogden. It's a terrible thing to shout.
Oh, yeah.
And so these two kids were like, it wasn't even their money. They just wanted the money.
Oh, wow.
And so I ran very far. I was pretty fast.
Did you keep the money? Did you have it?
No, they caught me and they beat me up and they took the money.
Really?
And that was it. So
why did this happen?
I gave up pretty easily though. It was maybe like a couple push down.
If it was me and like these two kids were like, oh, we want that money, I'd be like, whoop, just throw it in there and run, you know? Like,
when it comes to fight or flight, I'm definitely a flight. But I really also wanted the $20, so I thought I could, and I did outrun them, but I did the stupid thing where I ran all the way around the block and then I stayed within the same place. Yeah. So I essentially exhausted myself running around, and they just were like, well, why did you come back here? Yeah, what did you do?
So they're like, well, opportunity, I guess.
When opportunity knocks, it'll kick you on the ground.
Beat up a girl for $20.
Yeah, but...
That's a saying in life.
Yeah, something.
When opportunity knocks, beat up a girl for $20.
So, Steve pulled out the perfect...
I can't believe how well this is...
This is so great.
Oh, man.
The topic that we're going to talk about for the next 5-ish minutes, bad sponsors for the podcast.
Yeah.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, so potential bad sponsors for our podcast.
Lululemon. That's like bad as in we have nothing in common with Lululemon.
Neither of us does yoga.
We don't do yoga. We don't wear Lululemon
I don't
clothes.
even run on my treadmill anymore until my foot stops hurting. Jeez.
I don't think they make shoes or anything like that. It's really expensive yoga pants, clothing brand.
Yeah.
I've gone to their store like, oh, this is cute. Like, oh, it's $100
$90
for this
pants.
tank top. No, thank you.
Hey, Lululemon, if you're listening, we actually do want your business.
Please sponsor us. We'll cut this out and we'll replace it with sponsored ad.
Trojan condoms, probably not so great.
I don't know. That'd be kind of interesting to have like a
guess
condom
so.
sponsor.
I would feel really weird talking about that personally.
Yeah.
I'd be like,
we'd have to record an ad and probably re-record it and read off a script. Like, if you want to get busy, then something.
When you're having irresponsible casual sex, at least be slightly more responsible. Hashtag Trojan condoms.
Hashtag wear condom. Hashtag Trojan strong.
Trojan really wants us to.
But Trojan is actually a really terrible name for condoms, let's be honest.
I guess. Because it's like
they secretly invaded, like you think that's gonna be safe. Look at this nice horse gift.
Yeah.
Let's bring it inside. Oh, they all
the story of the Trojan horse really ruins the old saying that you shouldn't look a gift horse in the mouth.
Yeah.
Because I feel like if somebody was like, hey, let's look that gift horse in the mouth, they would have seen all those warriors in there.
Soldiers in here.
We don't want this horse. So anyways,
that's bad sponsor.
Yeah, well, and apparently also a bad... Because really, the idea is like, haha, I'm going to sneak inside your gates, and then all my warriors are going to destroy your insides.
And by warriors, we mean STDs in this case.
Or maybe, babies.
Unplanned pregnancies are ruining lives.
So anyway.
Oh, jeez.
Trojan, if you're listening, your sponsorship is welcome, sir.
I'm trying to think of something else.
The KKK would be a really bad sponsor.
The alt-right.
Any alt-right.
That being said, Kellogg's, we would love to have you as a sponsor.
Yeah. Since you're looking for some extra sponsorship area, losing all that Breitbart traffic, you just come on over, Kellogg's. We got you.
Oh man, I'm trying to think. What about Dole pineapples?
I would be so into that.
That'd be actually really cool, just because it's like, what? I was listening to this podcast, and all of a sudden there was this advertisement for pineapples. What?
Dole fruit.
Dole fruit.
Not as dull as you might think.
Yeah.
We got you, Dole.
We got you, Dole.
Already got good copy
We're gonna dole
here.
out these pineapples like nobody's business.
Man, have you ever heard so many Dole puns in 1 minute? No.
No, I don't think so.
You dolt.
That was such a stretch. I'm so sorry, Dole pineapples.
Did you... it's alright, I got a good one in there, so I'm good. So
Hashtag Trojan condoms.
Okay, well, do you have any more? I can't think of any.
I'm looking over at this Great Value.
Oh, that's the Walmart brand.
Walmart brands. But if we were just to be sponsored by Great Value...
That would be amazing,
That would be crazy, because we could literally talk about anything. Cooking oil.
Well, and they're like the generic brand. Yeah. So, they probably don't do any advertising.
Yeah, I know.
So it would be really amazing.
That'd be really amazing. And we'd just be like, just do maybe $100 worth of advertising.
I'd be like, Great Value Frosted Flakes. Same name as the other Frosted Flakes. Frosted Flakes isn't copyrighted. Yeah. There's no trademark on the name Frosted Flakes. It's really weird. Look it up on Wikipedia. Oh, speaking of Wikipedia, I came up with you and Otto should do this with me and Melissa next summer. I want to go to all of the geological formations that are called Molly's Nipple in Utah.
Oh, you mentioned that Are there 4?
No, there are more than that.
More than 4.
Molly's Nipple is the name given to, I tweeted this once, given to as many as 7 peaks, at least 1 butte, at least 1 well, and some other geological features in Utah. At least 1 well?
1 well?
I had to go get that life water from Molly's Nipple. The life-sustaining liquid.
Was there someone famous named Molly? Does the word nipple mean something differently back in old-timey days?
There is a section on the Wikipedia article that... the section title is Notable Molly's Nipples.
Oh, why?
Is that the nipples of notable Molly's? Or
Molly Ringwald? What? Is there
Wikipedia.
Oh, why does this thing... Why? I just can't handle...
No, but I think it would be really fun. I'm pretty sure now that I think about it, we have definitely mentioned Molly's Nipple on the podcast.
We can make an album on our podcast page of pictures.
I only know one person named Molly. I hope she never listens to this.
Molly, if you're listening, I'm really sorry.
Yeah, I apologize.
Also to all of the Mollys in the world that happen to be named similarly to these geological formations. We're apologizing.
I'm really sorry.
Yeah.
I will think no further about what's under your garments.
Your garments. That's a funny joke because
we live in Utah. I got you. Let's not go there.
We don't want to go there.
Man,
yeah, I would love to make a picture album of and we'll just call it Molly's Nipples. Not
somebody at work suggested one of those family portrait frames, right? Where you can put in a whole bunch of different pictures and then just put Molly's nipples in the top of it.
The fancy script,
Molly's nipples.
Established, 2014. We started going to all the Molly's nipples.
All the Molly's nipples in Utah.
Oh, man.
Man, and it's so awkward when you don't... We can't talk about this anymore. If you have any friends named Molly, send them this podcast.
Be like, this is hilarious.
They won't feel uncomfortable at all.
The topic I chose was eating sushi off of people.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, well... I'm a millennial, so obviously I read BuzzFeed articles or obviously. I'll just make that connection right away, and you can call me trash or whatever. That's fine. But there was a recent episode with the Try Guys. They're the group of 4 guys that go around with BuzzFeed, and they had this thing where they stripped down completely nude. And they put sushi on their bodies, and they had the rest of their coworkers come in and eat sushi off of them. So, I just...
Completely nude?
Nude, yeah. They had to blur their areas. If you can look this up, it's real.
They had their sushi rolls out?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just wanted to make a really funny connection with wieners. Okay, let's...
But it's, and this is not related to eating sushi off people. It's related to BuzzFeed and their HR department.
Okay.
I wonder, because some of their videos are completely insane.
Yeah.
And I just think about who is this poor HR man that's trying to, having people come into his office, obviously, and saying, oh, I feel harassed. oh, this happened, what do I do? Like, and what part of that's like, oh, that's just part of this business that we have here.
Yeah, it's the entertainment business or whatever.
BuzzFeed is very, I don't know, it seems kind of corporate to me at the same time. At least a section of them has to be, because they're so popular and they're everywhere. You know, they have all their different sections, but that just made me think of that, so.
Yeah. BuzzFeed is crazy.
Yeah.
But here's the thing about, like, eating sushi off of people. Like, I just can't think of who would want to do that. Like, and how... And this is just because I run in the wrong circles of people, but I really can't think of... I can't think of how, like... you incorporate others into something so strange as that, right? Like, I'm having a party. It's going to be really fun. We're going to drink sake and eat sushi off a naked woman.
Yeah, it's like, hooray! And sushi is the food that I would not want to eat out of someone. Like, give me something that's, I mean... I like sushi, you know, raw fish, that doesn't bother me.
I like sushi too.
The idea that it's sitting on someone's body and it's getting warm from their body heat, like, is very unappealing to me. So, I don't know, like, give me egg rolls off of someone's body, maybe. Give me, I don't know, what's another finger food? Peanuts.
I don't know. I would sort of just be like, did you make sure they purelled up before we got going with it?
And that would affect the taste too, I'm assuming. Like, whatever they washed themselves with before.
Well, and it's like,
and if they're getting sweaty, you know, it's obviously...
It's gotta be, like...
It's gotta be a little
What is
sweaty.
your writer like if you're like a person who has sushi eaten off? You're like, room must be 70 degrees and no hotter or colder. You know, like, I need 15 yellow M&Ms before I get started. I'm just thinking of writers now. I have no idea. But I guess, you know, the thing is maybe if you're like really rich and... like,
and you've run out of things to do with your money.
Yeah. Well, and that's another question is how much does it cost to get a naked person to lay on your table?
I think it was, from what I remember, it was not as expensive as I thought it was going to be. Like, it was like $200 an hour, which is expensive, but not as expensive as I thought it could potentially be. I mean, if it includes the food, and unless it just includes the plane, like the person that lays there nude.
If that's just there. I mean, hey, if you're making $200 an hour to lay down and have sushi eaten off of you, like,
okay,
maybe that might be worth it.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Can you imagine that's your job? Hey, so what are you doing this weekend? Oh, I got this art show I'm going to. Like, oh, it sounds kind of fun. Yeah, but I gotta just lay there for 3 hours. Like, oh, are you part of the exhibit? No, I'm just laying there and people are eating food off of me the entire time. And secondary question, what if you have to go to the bathroom? Or if something, like, you can't move, you have to really stay there.
What if, like, you had something bad to eat, like, a few hours before this engagement? And... what if you had to, like, in an emergency, get to a bathroom?
And you stand up, and all the sushi falls off of you onto the ground, and you're just running, and you have no shoes, and you have no clothes, and maybe you have, like, those leaf or seaweed, like, sticking
just
to you.
stuck to your body.
Oh
man, that sounds
That's a hilarious visual. If you're a comedy writer and you're listening to this, someone please incorporate that into your next movie.
We will write comedy for you for $75 an hour. That seems like a lot of, not very much for two people. That's not a very good salary.
Yeah, we wouldn't make it in Hollywood, Steve.
We'd never make it. We will write comedy for you for $1 million per episode.
I feel like I should know more phrases, like Scottish phrases.
Yeah, you should.
I do know one.
Okay.
Well, they'll say, that'll be shining bright. And I don't remember what it means. I think it's like, no way. Like, it's something really weird. Like, it doesn't make any sense.
Oh, that will be shining bright.
Yeah.
Like, that's it. My 3 seconds of good
The only reason I know that is because I watch so much, like, BBC One Scotland, and I have these really weird, like, reality shows, and they're not censored, by the way.
Right.
So
on BBC.
Yeah, for any nudity or anything.
Oh, okay.
So we were watching this show called Embarrassing Bodies.
Oh no.
And
okay, great.
This got really off topic from Brexit.
I'm happy.
But,
I like it.
We were watching this show, and it was like some guy comes in, and they'll come in and be like, "Oh, I have this scar that I'm trying to get rid of," or "Oh, I'm losing my hair, I'm trying to figure out what to do." And then they have these doctors, they'll come in and they'll actually show the procedures, which is kind of interesting. So a guy comes in, he's like, "I found a lump," and like, "All right, then drop your trousers," drops it, and just wang, like on the TV screen. I don't like saying the word penis. I'll say wang. I said it. So now we have to put a PG-13 rating.
You're so brave. You're so brave.
I'm brave to say that word as a woman in 2016. But and I was like, oh my god, I was like not prepared at all for this to be happening on my TV, and so I was with my husband, and he's like, no, and he just says no and changes the channel.
I can just imagine Otto. No,
it just changes immediately, and then so after getting over the initial shock, I'm like, well, I was an art major. I did I did my drawings.
You've seen a lot of dongers.
I've seen wangs in real life.
This is getting a little blue. Sorry, everybody.
But it's just really shocking to see it suddenly when you're not expecting it, right?
Yeah, of course.
In any circumstance. But I asked him, why'd you change the channel? I'm really curious to know why. And I thought he would say, oh, I don't want you watching that, or whatever. But he said, I didn't want to see it. What are you talking about?
Wait, so you're telling me this guy thought he found a lump, and he pulled his pants down, and then on the television, you were going to see a bit of spotted dick? Sorry.
That was really good.
Hashtag English puns.
That was pretty good.
Thanks, man. Thanks.
Thanks, BBC One Scotland, for Embarrassing Bodies.
And for that really, really sweet pun. We made it.
We've done it.
Well, hey, I just wanted to interrupt here and, as always, say thank you very much for listening. You guys are really a fantastic audience. We love your participation, and a lot of what you're hearing today, all the best moments of the podcast, come from interaction from you. So we really, really appreciate it and enjoy your feedback. That said, the way this podcast grows, if you do like it and you do enjoy, interacting with us, the way this podcast is going to grow always is via your sharing with your friends and us sharing with our friends, and that kind of thing. We probably are unlikely to have some, in the near future, spurt of growth based on some television coverage or something like that. So yeah, your sharing would be super helpful. In fact, this particular episode is one that you really could share, given that it's a real taste of the podcast in more of a long form than we've released before. So it might be a really good one to let your friends know about if they haven't heard the podcast before. So, also, a really good way for you to help the podcast out is to leave us a review on iTunes, a rating and a review there. Those are always really helpful. They're just a very tangible way that we can see the results of our work. So anyway, all that said, probably the easiest way to share the podcast is to just go to yourplaindonuts.com. That's YOUR plaindonuts.com. You can find links to every episode there and also links to all of our social media like Facebook and Twitter. So, yourplaindonuts.com, and there will be a link to this episode there as well if that's how you'd like to share that with your friends. Anyway, thanks a lot. You guys are great. Enjoy the rest of the show.
actually, I can think of something, and it's not Halloween related, but it was a time when I was really scared, and I did a really stupid thing. So, I was walking around in Sunset, Utah. For those of you, shout out for those who live in Sunset, Utah. Very interesting area of town. Meth. That's all I'll say.
Oh, right. Sunset.
I did not do meth, but there was.
I was trying to think of where Sunset was. Yeah. I kept thinking of Far West. I don't know why I was thinking. Probably because of the on the end. Because of Sunset, Far West. Anyway, I was trying to think of where Sunset was, and I know exactly where it is. And yes, it's very methy up there.
Very methy.
I mean, if you live in Sunset, you probably don't do meth, but you probably know somebody who does.
Or your neighbor does it. So
yeah,
that's just kind of the neighborhood. So I was walking around in Sunset. I think it was in high school. I was probably 16, 17 at the time. And I was walking to, there's like a 7-Eleven down the street. And I don't remember why. I think it was at a friend's house or something. I don't know. So I'm walking down the street and I think it's summertime. It's pretty hot outside, but whatever. It's not bothering me. And this lady in this white van pulls up, and so she's like, "Hey, where are you going?" I'm like, "I'm just going up like 2 blocks up that way. No big deal." She's like, "Well, it's kind of you're like a younger girl walking alone in Sunset. Do you want me to give you a ride?" And I was like, "Oh, no, that's okay. It's like only a couple blocks." Like, "No, really, like I really insist. Like, let me just give you a ride up to 7-Eleven where you're going. It was fine." And you would think that a person in this situation would logically say, "This person is really interested in getting me to get in their car. I probably shouldn't get in their car." But I was like, "Yeah, sure, I'll get in your car." And this white van, right? The windows in the back of the van are like blocked off. It's totally stupid. So but that's not the scariest part.
Like, but we just have to stop here. I'm not forgiving you for this. That was really dumb.
That was really
okay,
stupid.
Going on.
Sorry, Mom and Dad. That's probably like the thing you do not want to hear me talk about. But so I get in this van. She's like, "Oh, put your seatbelt on." I'm like, "Yeah, okay." So we're driving. We're chatting. Her van is like full of just stuff, just like a ton of crap. I can't really see into the back of it. And we're just driving along. We're just having a casual conversation. I don't even remember what it was. And we get to the 7-Eleven, and she stops and she kind of pulls around. I'm like, oh, she actually I really did make a stupid decision. She's not going to stop. But then she kind of maneuvers, makes the U-turn and stops in front, and I get out. And she looks at me, and this is the most terrified I've ever been. She said, "You shouldn't have gotten in my van." And she closed the door and drove away. I'm like, "What just happened? What do you mean I should have gotten in your van? Like, what are you talking about?" So, I don't know.
That's the end?
That's the end of the story. Because
I'm kind of terrified right now.
The whole, leading up to, "Oh, stupid, I shouldn't have gotten in the van." And she told me at the end I shouldn't have gotten in the van, which was so...
Did she say, because I could see how, you're a young girl. You shouldn't have gotten in my van. Yeah. Or I could see how it's you shouldn't have gotten in my van.
Yeah. The emphasis. But she just looked at me and, her face was just "You shouldn't have gotten in my van." And just deadpan. Just totally deadpan. And she didn't say anything else. She just closed the door. I didn't close it. She closed it from, the inside. And then, the passenger side door, she reaches over and closed it and then just drives away. So, you know how they talk about, serial killers sometimes have accomplices?
Yeah.
Or whatever that, will help stalk out and actually help capture other people? Well, could that have been me? I could have died! And so I'm, researching, all these crazy things,
Yes.
So that was, getting in the van was not scary, driving was not scary, but that one line before she left was the most terrified I've ever been in my entire life. So
maybe while you were in there, she was like, "Oh, this girl's not as white as I thought."
Whoa.
This is a good one. This is one that we don't have to talk about for very long. Steve lettering in drama in high school.
Oh, yes! I remember writing this down. I'm really excited about learning more about this.
Well,
Steve has, I think you've kind of mentioned it a little bit.
Sure.
But maybe more often than like when we're talking.
What I mean by lettering is the fact that I was just a prissy little drama queen in high school.
Take a sec. I think, we need to set the stage here.
No, I'm not even talking about high school drama class. I'm just saying I was super dramatic. That's also true. Okay. Actually, I did both.
Yeah. So you were in high school when?
I graduated in 2003.
2003, okay. So we are...
NSYNC is like the height of their career.
Hot right now. Nelly?
Nelly? Hot in Here was so big in high school.
Hot in Her, I should say. I should pronounce it correctly. And that might be a correction that I might have to make later. I'm not looking this up. But, we just passed Y2K. So we survived all of that.
9/11 happened while I was in high school.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Pretty dramatic, I guess.
We'll take a little somber mood for a second. But,
that was a crazy time.
Yeah.
So anyway, the way you letter in something, basically, in case you were wondering or you didn't already know, is you just do that thing a lot and get good grades in it. So I basically took all the drama classes you could take. Even like as a senior, I think I took like drama classes that I had already taken just because I was like, I don't need more credits. I'm taking drama. So,
so did you do a lot of plays and stuff? I'm assuming.
Yeah, I did.
Did you do musicals too?
I tried out. I don't think I got a part. I think I said specifically that I was trying out because my sister wanted to try out. And I just wasn't all that interested in being part of the musical. I don't remember why. I think it's because I had youth group like on Wednesday nights or something, and I didn't want
Steve is like real popular, and he's got lots of extracurricular activities going on in his high school life.
I don't know that popularity had much to do with it. Anyway, I think I told them, I was like, I don't know if I have the time, but my sister wanted to try out for the musical, so here I am, or whatever. I think that's what the context was. But so I did do, we did a play called Arsenic and Old Lace.
Oh, yeah,
if you haven't seen that, I played the character of Teddy Roosevelt in that play, or actually Teddy, the nephew, who thinks he's Teddy Roosevelt. It was a really, really fun part. And then we did like a one act, I think, in high school that was like directed by somebody from from the class, and I ended up playing the lead in that, but it was so bad. I had to have an English accent, and I was much better at an English accent in high school than I am now. Much better. But I didn't have the words memorized very well by the time we did it.
Oh, jeez.
And our director, it seemed like he was a little bit aloof and wasn't really too into it, which kind of sucked too. I think he wanted to be acting in it and not directing.
One of those.
Which is okay. And actually, I had to kiss a girl in that one act. And it was weird. Man, that was an awkward situation. I also had a girlfriend that it was sort of like a long-term girlfriend in high school. And that was a pretty dramatic moment in our relationship.
I can't imagine.
And I think... Or maybe it was like right after her and I broke up or something like... And then
I'm going to go in this play where I kiss a girl a bunch of times.
And then I ended up really liking that girl, and then she was like, "No, Steve," and I was like, "No,
Steve, it's just acting."
The rejection, it hurts so much.
And that's when he became very serious. He used the pain to letter in acting in high school.
We also had a class called Impact Team, which was a team that you tried out for. And it was like the best actors. But really what we did was learn skits that were like had strong messages, like
after school
don't
special
do drugs.
Kind of stuff.
Yeah, that kind of stuff. And we would go around to different schools and do these little Impact Team events. Man, that was actually a really fun class. So I was able to do that and get grades that way too, and it was was pretty fun.
So you actually got you got a jacket then?
No, I didn't. I could have gotten a jacket. I didn't get a jacket. I did wear like a rope though. On my, when you.
Yeah.
So I think I had a purple rope or something.
Whoa,
I don't know if they were color coded. I don't think they were. You just got you got them for however many things you lettered in. And the craziest part is I almost didn't graduate high school because I had failed one semester of biology. Because I was really, 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 really bad in the morning. I just could not do mornings. I got kicked out of the jazz band because I was so bad at mornings.
Steve's got so many interesting high school stories. We're going to have to revisit this again.
But no, I failed one semester of biology. But I graded above the curve on the test at the end of the year. So I got, my teacher literally said, if you grade above the curve at the end of the year, I'll give you an A because you obviously learned. Yeah. And so, but he didn't give me an A for the first semester, which is where I failed. So I had to go back and take a bunch of tests to prove that I knew the material. Otherwise, I wouldn't have graduated high school.
And where would Steve be if he didn't graduate high school?
I don't know. Well, that would have sucked a lot.
Yeah, that would have been kind of weird.
I have such a bipolar high school experience because I almost didn't graduate and failed some classes, but also did really well on a couple AP tests and lettered in drama.
Steve's high school career is just a roller coaster.
It's so crazy. It's coming out in my new high school novel. High school roller coaster. Yeah. Oh, this is actually a really good one.
Oh, geez.
I pulled out a topic for us to discuss, and it's actually very fitting. Bad ideas to grow our audience.
Putting out a sex tape.
That's a terrible idea.
And I won't even go into details about what this would contain. But if we tried to put out a sex tape, it'd just be like, who are these two? What is this?
It would have to
be sex tape for a podcast? What?
I'm sorry, but that's hilarious. A sex tape for a podcast.
It's so bad. It's so stupid. We don't even know anyone famous that we could do this sex tape with.
I know.
So it wouldn't even make any.
It would be so weird. What would have to be like a double set? Because we'd have to have one for you and one for me.
Because we have already established that Steve and I are not in
right, and I don't think our spouses would be very into that. Oh man, and to be honest, all of our followers would just drain at that point.
We would lose our entire base instantly.
Really bad.
We would lose all of our respect.
We would gain a whole other base,
We would gain a very interesting subgroup of listeners.
Whew, I don't even want to think about who might be interested in our podcast at that point.
Well, that's my terrible idea.
Wow. Man, that is a really bad one. Let's see. What's another really bad idea for growing podcasts? You like skywriting?
Skywriting? You're thinking of stuff like that.
I don't know.
I don't know. I was thinking of nude snaps. Nude Snapchat snaps.
Yeah, I don't understand the appeal of Snapchat because I don't apparently there are people with a bazillion followers and there are people on Snapchat who are I want to see the people snapping.
Yeah. And I do follow a couple of people. They're makeup artists, and then I follow Snoop Dogg.
Yes.
And I just oh my gosh, he's got these great crazy. He's kind of insightful, actually.
Yeah.
These rants in his car and stuff, and he's going around. Kevin Hart's another guy I follow, too. There's lots of Snapchats at the gym, and I'm kind of all right, just do something funny. I don't know.
Bring us some comedy snaps, Kevin.
Yeah, I just am so... And sometimes he really does. I'm this is hilarious. He'll just, videotape, one of his... people's in his posse, I guess. I don't know, and they don't know it, or snap someone sleeping and just scare them. And,
oh, jeez.
It's just really
hilarious.
Funny. Yeah,
really good, clever pranks.
But snap stories is a really bad way.
Man, and that's, what's funny is, like, the whole implication of Snapchat that, like somehow these pictures are just gonna go away.
Yeah. And now they don't even go away. I think they never really went away, but now you can rewatch them again or pay Snapchat to watch them over and over as many times as you want.
Really?
People screenshot them, obviously, all the time.
Well, that's the thing. I was like, if you're sending people naked pictures of your body, like...
You better make sure they're going to be committed to not sharing those pictures.
That's the thing is, like, it's not difficult to take screenshots of things. I'm like, no, this isn't going away. Don't you understand how technology works? You're like 12.
Yeah. So if you're one of our mature 12-year-old listeners and up, don't send naked Snapchats of yourself to...
Anyone.
I mean... I don't want to say that because I want people to still feel like it's your body. You can share it with whomever. But if you're a minor, just don't do that. It's bad.
Yeah.
It's not good
well,
for you.
And really I would say, from my perspective, it's like, don't do that with anybody.
Yeah.
Because number one, like, you don't know who might be on your Wi-Fi network, packet sniffing, and find your
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, it's hackers, man.
Hackers.
Or like, you don't know who's on the other end. Like maybe this person that you think you can trust is really untrustworthy.
Yeah.
Like, it's bad news.
I am always hearing news stories about people sharing snaps with, like, some 15-year-old girl sent it to her boyfriend or whatever, and then it's, like, spread around all over, and then they end up, hating themselves and killing themselves, or I don't know, just crazy stuff. Not that stuff. I mean, I guess there's good and bad things that come with technology, but never in my wildest dreams did I think as a 10-year-old, oh boy, I can't wait to be sitting at my desk at school and someone sends me a nudie pic on my little personal device. Like, I just don't think, and it's of my friend. I don't know. Like, it's crazy how stuff like that happens.
That's we're just randomly sending people like pictures of body parts is not a good way to grow the podcast.
Yes, we will not send you pictures.
This brought to you by the Plain Donuts Podcast. Thanks. It's really weird looking.
Like, oh my gosh. What is this podcast about? This is weird.
This is not as plain as I would expect it to be for the name of the podcast.
Hey, it's your co-host Steve again. That's it. That's the whole episode of Wonderful Moments. Just wanted to say thanks again. Remember to share it with your friends and have a wonderful week. We'll be back with a new, fresh episode next week. See you later. Bye.